All right, everyone, let's start IGCSE O-Level Paper 4 Theory, October-November 2024, variance 42. Question number 1. The formulae of the molecule A2I are shown in table 1.1. Answer the following questions about the molecules A2I. State which of the molecule A2I is an element with a triple bond. The triple bond beta nitrogen molecule में होता है. इसके अलावा चेक कर लो और कहीं होता है ट्रिपल बॉन्ड. ट्रिपल बॉन्ड SO2 में भी होता है और ट्रिपल बॉन्ड सिर्फ N2 में है. ठीक है. सो N2. अच्छा, लेटर शो करना है. ये हो जाएगा G is a product of photosynthesis. फोटोसिंथेसिस में ग्लूकोज बनता है और ऑक्सीजन बनती है. तो H is used as a fuel. एज अ फ्यूल जो है वो इथेनॉल यूज होता है और इथेनॉल को हम B से रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं. टर्न्स लाइम वाटर मिल्की इस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड D से रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे. अंडरगोज अ सब्स्टिट्यूशन रिएक्शन विद एल्केन क्लोरीन E से रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे. इज अ कलरलेस लिक्विड एट RTP. कलरलेस लिक्विड एट RTP इथेनॉल. बेटा ये सब तो गैसेस हैं, तो लिक्विड तो सिर्फ यही है. is 21% of clean dry air oxygen. So H is a reactant in the Haber's process, nitrogen and hydrogen. So nitrogen is given, which is represented by G. Okay, that's the first question, guys. That was easy. Oh, one left. Hold on. Is a colorless liquid, which is B, is unsaturated. Unsaturated is A, ethene. Okay, now it's finished. Second question. Aluminum is manufactured by the electrolysis of aluminum oxide. State the name of the main ore of aluminum. Aluminum की extraction can be done through bauxite ore. Name the substance mixed with aluminum oxide to reduce the operating temperature of the process. Molten cryolite. सकता है एग्जामिनर फॉर्मूला पूछ लें. Explain why molten mixture in B conducts electricity because of the presence of free mobile ions. Table 2.1 contains some information about the processes which takes place at anode and cathode. Anode पे obviously 4 electrons are lost और cathode के ऊपर जो है वो aluminum ion gains 3 electron and converted into aluminum. So write the number of electrons needed to balance the ionic half equation for the reaction at anode. I have done that. Ionic half equation reaction at the cathode. I have done that. State why the gas process at the anode is an oxidation because of the loss of electron. Because of the loss of electron or increase in oxidation state of oxygen. इन दोनों में से कोई एक आंसर लिख सकते हो. So because of the loss of electron and increase in oxidation state, oxygen is formed at the anode. Explain why main gas given off at the anode is carbon dioxide and not oxygen, because anode is made up of graphite. Graphite is carbon. Carbon react with oxygen to give carbon dioxide. Because oxygen given off at anode reacts with carbon, ये ग्रेफाइट की फॉर्म में होता है, to give carbon dioxide. State why aluminum is used in food container. Because it is resistant to corrosion. Okay. Next, aluminum reacts with fluorine to form ionic compound aluminum fluoride. Complete the dot and cross diagram in figure 2.1 of the ions in aluminum fluoride. Give the charges of the ions. Guys, aluminum has an atomic number of 13. Let's configure it. 2, 8, and 3. Aluminum carries 3 plus charge, so it lost 3 electrons, and so its configuration is 2 and 8. First shell examiner has shown already. I need to mention the second shell. Let's draw that. And that second shell contain 8 electrons, and those 8 electrons are represented by cross. And it carries 3 plus charge. Let's talk about fluorine now. Fluorine has an atomic number of 9. So if you configure it, it's going to be 2 and 7. So first shell has already shown. I need to mention the second shell. And in that second shell, I need to mention 7 electrons. Okay. And these 7 electrons are represented by dot. 6. And this one is 7. Same here. 6, 7. Okay. Now, 1 electron. Okay. Let me show you another one. 7 valence electrons. 2, 4, 6, and this one is 7. So aluminum lost 3 electrons. 1 electron is absorbed here, second electron absorbed here, and third electron absorbed here. And obviously that electron is represented by cross. That electron is represented by cross. That electron is represented by cross. So when it gains 1 electron from the aluminum atom, carries -1 charge. It also carries 1 minus charge. And it also carries 1 minus charge. I hope it makes sense to you. That's a brilliant sort of question and analysis, I must say. That's the end of question number 1. Let's move on to the next question. Sulfur forms 2 chlorides, P and Q. Chloride P has the formula S2Cl2 and chloride Q has the formula SCl2. In Cambridge examination, I have solved the question on this formula. Okay, I hope you remember that. Both chlorides are covalently bonded and have low melting points. In terms of attraction between particles, why these chlorides have low melting points? First, they exhibit simple molecular structure. Particles are held together by weak van der Waals forces. So less energy is needed to overcome such forces or attraction. Chloride S2Cl2 forms when sulfur reacts with chlorine. Write the equation for this reaction. Okay. When sulfur and chlorine react together, you will get S2Cl2. You can write 2 here. That's the balanced chemical equation. Okay. According to my lecture, sulfur always exists in S8 state. So you need to put 8 here. Oh, you need to put 4 here. And you need to put 4 here. तो पहली वाली इक्वेशन भी ठीक थी, ये इक्वेशन भी ठीक है, ये मैंने S8 की फॉर्म में लिखी है बिकॉज S8 इज द एक्चुअल फॉर्मूला ऑफ सल्फर. ओके, लेकिन अगर आप इसको इस पैटर्न पे देना चाहते हैं, इस पैटर्न पे आंसर देना चाहते हैं, तो ये भी एक्सेप्टेबल है. ओके, complete dot and cross diagram of a molecule of chloride SCl2 show outer electrons only. By the way, sulfur contains 6 valence electrons and chlorine contains 7 electrons in the last shell. And obviously sulfur and chlorine both forms one covalent bond between them, which means 1 electron of each element share together. So that's the concept we need to apply. Sulfur, 6 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now chlorine has 7 valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chloride T is converted into chloride Q by the reaction with chlorine in a closed system. The reversible reaction reaches an equilibrium. The forward reaction is exothermic. If forward reaction is exothermic, that means delta H must be negative. Okay. Suggest 2 changes to the condition which will result in a decrease in the concentration of chloride Q at equilibrium. So if you want to decrease the concentration of this compound, for that equilibrium needs to be moved in the backward direction. Equilibrium favors in the backward direction. Either you can increase the temperature because the reaction is exothermic, or you just decrease the concentration of reactant. So either you decrease the concentration of reactant or you need to increase the temperature. Okay. So first thing first is increase in the temperature. Favors equilibrium towards left hand side. Concentration obviously chloride की decrease हो जाएगी, because किसी भी exothermic reaction में अगर हम temperature को increase करते हैं तो equilibrium हमेशा backward जाता है, ये कम हो जाएगा. Okay. Second thing, concentration. So decreases the concentration of chlorine और S2Cl2, दोनों में से किसी एक की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन कर लें. अब स्टूडेंट ने मुझसे क्वेश्चन किया कि सर हाउ अबाउट, आपने टेम्परेचर बता दिया, आपने कॉन्सेंट्रेशन बता रहे हैं रिएक्टेंट की, हाउ अबाउट द प्रेशर थिंग, क्या हम प्रेशर को यहाँ यूज कर सकते हैं? तो मेरा जवाब, हम प्रेशर को यूज नहीं कर सकते. व्हाई? बिकॉज यहाँ पर प्रोडक्ट साइड पे 2 मोल्स हैं और यहाँ रिएक्टेंट साइड पे भी टोटल 2 मोल्स हैं. As the number of moles on both the side is same, so there will be no effect of pressure in this scenario. इसलिए मैंने प्रेशर को कंसिडर नहीं किया, मैंने टेम्परेचर और कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ रिएक्टेंट को कंसिडर किया. ओके, आई होप इट मेक्स सेंस टू यू. इसमें एक चीज और भी लिख सकते हैं आप, फेवर्स इक्विलिब्रियम टुवर्ड्स लेफ्ट हैंड साइड. यू कैन राइट वन मोर थिंग, आप इसकी कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इंक्रीज कर देंगे तब भी इक्विलिब्रियम बैकवर्ड चला जाएगा. ओके, एंड जब इक्विलिब्रियम बैकवर्ड जाएगा तो कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ क्लोराइड क्यू जो है वो एट इक्विलिब्रियम डिक्रीज हो जाएगी. बट ये ज्यादा सेंसिबल रीजंस हैं, इन्हीं को फॉलो कीजिएगा. ओके, नेक्स्ट, the rate of the forward reaction in D is determined by collision theory. The rate of reaction depends upon two factors: the frequency of collision between particles, also called collision frequency, the proportion of collision which have the energy greater than or equal to the activation energy. Define the term activation energy. Least amount of energy required to proceed the reaction. Give the symbol of the activation energy, capital E, small a. Complete the table 3.1 to show the effect, if any, when the conditions are changed. Words increases, decreases, or no change can be used. Okay, concentration of chlorine increases, so frequency of collision between particles increases. Temperature is increased, collisions between particles increases. Effect of proportion of collisions with the energy greater than or equal to activation energy, no change. And obviously this increases, and this also increases. तो कैटलिस्ट के अंदर ये, कैटलिस्ट में और टेम्परेचर में ये दोनों होते हैं, कंसंट्रेशन में नहीं होता ऐसा. ठीक है, ये प्रोपोर्शन सिर्फ टेम्परेचर और कैटलिस्ट से चेंज होता है, कंसंट्रेशन या प्रेशर से चेंज नहीं होता, इसलिए एग्जामिनर ने यहाँ पर डैश कर दिया है. नेक्स्ट, द रिएक्शन ऑफ क्लोराइड P with chlorine is redox reaction. The oxidation number of chlorine in chloride P and chloride Q is -1. Okay, तो बिल्कुल सही बात है. इस कंपाउंड में क्लोरीन का चार्ज है -1 और इस कंपाउंड में भी क्लोरीन का चार्ज है -1. Use oxidation number to explain why sulfur is oxidized in the forward reaction. By the way, take out the oxidation state. सल्फर को 2x ले लो, क्लोरीन का चार्ज इज -1 times 2 equals to 0, the next equals to +1. यहां पर सल्फर की ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट निकालो, x -1 multiplied by 2 equals to 0, the next equals to +2. So technically sulfur की oxidation state increases from +1 to +2, which is why sulfur is oxidized, because of the increase in oxidation state. And when increase in oxidation state takes place, loss of electron also takes place. Also, during the reaction, sulfur loses electron, which is why its oxidation state increases from +1 to +2. Chlorine is oxidized in the reverse reaction. Over here, the charge of chlorine is -1, and over here the charge of chlorine is 0. So -1 to 0 is basically the increase in oxidation state, which means process is going to be oxidation. And if it is If oxidation takes place, then it means loss of electron also takes place. So in the reverse reaction, chlorine, in fact chloride ion loses electron, so increase in oxidation state increases from -1 to 0. इसमें भी हम एक पॉइंट ऐड कर सकते बेटा. होल्ड ऑन. दैट इज +1 to +2. ये हो सकता है. ठीक है, शो कर दीजिए ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. Silver bromide is made when aqueous silver ethanoate is added to aqueous sodium bromide. The equation for the reaction is this. यहाँ से Na, यहाँ से ethanoate, they will combine together to give sodium ethanoate. Ag and Br combine together to give AgBr, and obviously AgBr has a creamy precipitates, if you remember. And obviously this sodium ethanoate is a salt, and this salt has a colorless solution. And these two substances also has a colorless solution. Okay, 200 cm cube of 0.05 mole per dm cube silver ethanoate to the beaker. This volume contains 0.010 mole of silver ion. Okay, let me check. Yeah, that's right. If you multiply these two values and divide by 1000, you will get moles of silver ions. That's the right answer. That's right. 50 cm cube of aqueous NaBr. This volume contains 0.1 mole per dm cube bromide ions, the precipitate forms. Okay. So, oh, that's excellent actually. Filter the mixture. Dry the solid residue until water is removed. Record the mass of the dry residue. Complete the ionic equation. The silver ions aqueous, bromide ions aqueous, converting into silver bromide precipitate, which is solid. By the way, moles of silver ions and moles of bromide ions are same because of 1:1 ratio in the equation, as you can see that. सही है, ये दोनों 1:1 के रेशियो में हैं, इसके दोनों के मोल्स भी सेम. Name a different aqueous silver salt which could be used in step 1. Silver nitrate, because all nitrates are soluble. Next, use the information in step 2 to calculate the concentration of aqueous NaBr. So I know the moles, I know the volume, I can find the concentration. So 50.0 cm cube of NaBr contains 0.01 moles. So अगर आपके पास 1000 cm cube है NaBr, so concentration क्या होगी into 1000 divided by 50, it's going to be 0.2 mole per dm. Okay, state the color of the precipitate which formed in step 2. I said creamy precipitates. That's an excellent question, guys. Use the information in step 1, 2 and equation 1 to determine the number of moles of AgBr form. Use this value to calculate the mass of AgBr form. Step 1, step 2, and equation 1. Step 1, step 2, and equation 1. Okay, guys, look. Silver ion and bromide ion and silver bromide has 1:1 ratio. अगर ये 0.001 है और ये भी 0.001 है तो ये भी जाहिर सी बात है 0.001 मोल होगा. आई मीन 0.001 मोल होगा. सही है. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल silver ion and AgBr has 1:1 का ratio. So if we have 0.01 moles of silver ion, obviously we'll get same moles of AgBr, which is 0.01 mole. I need to find the MR of silver bromide to find the mass. Silver is basically 108. Bromine is basically 80. 108 plus 80 is going to be 188. So to calculate the mass of AgBr, 188 needs to multiply with the moles, which is 0.01. Multiply 0.01, so it's going to be 1.88 gram. So moles of AgBr is 0.01. Mass of AgBr is 1.88 gram. Name the salt dissolved in the filtrate in step 3. With that filtrate is sodium ethanoate, because it has a colorless solution. It is soluble in water. Okay. An examiner is looking for the name, so I'm going to write sodium ethanoate. The recorded mass of dry residue in step 5 is greater than the mass calculated in E because a step is missing from the procedure. Suggest the missing step. Record the mass of the dry residue in step 5 is greater than the mass in. Okay, so mass of the dry residue अगर greater आ रहा है तो इसका मतलब जो आपने वाटर को रिमूव करना था वो सही तरह से रिमूव नहीं हुआ, कुछ ना कुछ मॉइस्चर रह गया, जिसकी वजह से ड्राई रेजिड्यू का मास जो है वो एक्सपेक्टेड से ज्यादा आया है. So we need to remove the water. So मिक्सचर को फिल्टर करने के बाद हम डायरेक्टली ड्राई नहीं करते, पहले हम इस रेजिड्यू को डिस्टिल वाटर से वॉश करते हैं, उसके बाद फिर हम उसको ड्राई करते हैं. ऑलराइट. और फिर मास रिकॉर्ड करते हैं. तो इसमें से एक स्टेप मिसिंग कौन सा हो गया कि हमने जो सॉलिड रेजिड्यू है उसको डिस्टिल वाटर से वॉश नहीं किया. Solid residue needs to be washed with distilled water. Name the substance responsible for the greater mass. Water. Water is still there. Moisture has been there. Barium sulfate can be made by the same method but with different aqueous solution. Suggest 2 aqueous solutions which can be added together to make barium sulfate. So to make barium sulfate, I need barium nitrate and sodium sulfate. Both of them are soluble salt When they will combine together, you will get white precipitates of barium sulfate. Examiner is looking for the balanced equation for this reaction. That's easy. That's barium nitrate reacting with sodium sulfate. Now barium and sulfate combine together to give barium sulfate. Sodium and nitrate combine together to give sodium nitrate. And guys, ये equation class में भी की हमने. That's the end of this question. Let's move on to the next one. Question 5. Alkenes are manufactured by cracking larger alkane molecule. State the source of the large alkane molecules used in cracking. Crude oil. Next, state two conditions needed for cracking large alkane molecules. High temperature, high pressure, and zeolite is the catalyst. Zeolite is a mixture of aluminum oxide and silicon dioxide. When one molecule of dodecane C12H26 is cracked, 3 molecules of butanene and one other product are formed. Use the molecular formulae to complete the simple equation for this reaction. 3 molecules of butanene, C4H8. So 3 4s are 12, the carbon balanced. 3 8s are 24. This is 26, only hydrogen left. So this is hydrogen gas. So it's a balanced chemical equation, guys. Here 12 carbon, here 12 carbon, here total 26 hydrogen, here 26 hydrogen. Suggest the type of chemical reaction which happens during cracking, thermal decomposition. Propene will undergo polymerization, such as the name of the polymer formed from propene, polypropene. We did that in the class. Draw part of this polymer to show 3 repeating units. My goodness, I need to mention 3 times. This is CH3. This is H. This is H. This is H. This is the first repeating unit. I need to mention 3 more. I mean 2 more. So ये second हो गया मेरा और ये third हो गया मेरा. Okay. State the type of polymerization propene undergoes. Propene is an alkene and all alkene undergoes addition polymerization. Let's move on to the next question. Polyamides and polyesters are polymers. Polyamides can occur naturally, can be manufactured. Naturally occurring polyamides are also called protein. Part of the structure of a polyamide is shown. Okay, this is amide linkage, this is amide, this is amide, this is amide. And since it is naturally occurring, which means it is protein. And if protein is there, मैं इनको बोलूंगा peptide linkage or peptide bond. And that's protein actually. Draw a circle around one amide linkage. I did that. Complete figure 6.2 to show the structure of the 2 monomers needed to make the polymer in this. Okay, you need two monomer. So basically, you need, oh my goodness, you need two things. Look at this structure. This is diamine. And look at this structure. This is dicarboxylic acid. So you need dicarboxylic acid and diamine in order to make this polymer. I repeat, break the bond from here, break the bond from here. Obviously, this polymer is going to be like this. NH2, this bond, and NH2. Okay. Break the bond from here also. Obviously, from this, you will get COOH, this box, in fact, shaded one, and this COOH. So technically, you are getting dicarboxylic acid and diamine in order to make this polymer. So I'm going to write here. This is COOH. This is COOH. An examiner is looking all the atoms and all the bonds, which means you need to mention the displayed pattern. This is NH2 and this is NH2. और मैंने क्लास में बेटा एक बात बोली थी आपको, मैंने कहा था हम मोनोमर लेकर पॉलीमर बना रहे हैं. ये भी हो सकता है कि एग्जामिनर पॉलीमर दे दे और हमसे मोनोमर पूछे और आपने देखें वही क्वेश्चन दिया एग्जामिनर ने आपको. एग्जामिनर की अप्रोच है जो मैं शेयर कर रहा था क्लास में आपसे. Name the other products formed in this polymerization. Obviously, water, because H and OH combine together to give water. State the term given to natural polyamides, protein. Name the type of monomers which are used to make natural polyamides, amino acids. Okay. One of the monomer which forms part of a natural polyamide has 3 carbon atoms. Complete the figure 6.3 to show the displayed formula of this monomer. This is COOH. This is NH2. And this is R. Has 3 carbon atoms. So if it has 3 carbon atoms, so एक कार्बन ये हो गई, सेकंड कार्बन ये हो गई, तो इसकी जगह पे हम CH3 भी तो लिख सकते हैं. So ये total 3 carbon atoms हो गए. Okay. First carbon, second and third carbon. PET is a polyester. Name 2 types of monomer molecule used to make polyester. Dicarboxylic acid and diols. Draw part of the structure of PET which shows 2 repeating units. Show all the atoms and all the bonds in the linkage. Okay. So I'm doing directly. I've done that in class. So मुझे लगता है कि आपको आना चाहिए. Carbon double bond oxygen. Okay. ये अल्कोहल पार्ट आ गया आपके पास. That's the structure. यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक फर्स्ट रिपीटिंग यूनिट, फिर यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक सेकंड रिपीटिंग यूनिट. ओके. That's the end of this paper also.